is the neighborhood, and you are not welcome.
That's why I need to be.
Why do they all look like a mutated Darth Sidious in the modern era? The battle cry of the ocularly hazardous hair dye looking ass motherfucker. Imagine being one of these guys just trying to go home from school and the next thing you hear is Alright, welcome back, it's Evil Eathfern season again. Now, there's many different kinds of narcissists in the world. Many narcissists try to silence people and keep them quiet, hide themselves under the radar, and not make it known how deranged they are. And then there's the types that will be more loud than a nu metal vocalist about how much they need everyone to know that they stand for abortion rights for the squirrels in their backyards. Sometimes the internet just doesn't feel the same as it did a few years ago. Every time I scroll my Instagram reels to sweep up the biggest pieces of shit on the internet, it feels like something is slithering into my feed like the scaly semen demons trying to slide into my DMs lately. Speaking of which, go follow my Insta. I post some bangers and you be damned if you think I'm posting that shit for myself. But what I'm talking about here is politics. There is nothing in this world that makes me want to unleash the Fourth Reich more than modern politics. I have ranted on politicians many times before, but I have never exactly focused on the people themselves who rally behind these snollygosters, sneaking out of the psych wards like it's a fucking siege mission, crawling their way onto social media to spread some of the most dog-ass takes that has ever had the displeasure of being shat out backwards from someone's body. Sometimes I wake up feeling lucky that I'm not from America and my people don't have the God-given freedom to spit some of mankind's most awful fucking takes on who should run the country. That's actually a really bad thing. So I had to do what any red-blooded patriot would do and ran to my garage to make a rant so I could scare the minions of the political opinions out of my feed. Also, just note I am right-wing, so obviously I am subject to bias. Alright, and let's be real here, most of my issues come from the left. I mean shit, I personally would play a Lily Tino video during my funeral, not to make anyone sad, but to make them wish they were the ones in that fucking casket. But that's not to say that the right doesn't have some less than savory individuals. So I'm gonna be doing my best to be as unbiased as possible here. Alright, so, 1 2, you know how the fuck we do, let's begin.
Neg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
I think it's only fair to start with social issues in general because this is where a lot of this stems from, and let's be real, social issues are for the weak. Fuck do you mean you socialize? I'm out here eating pesticides, you ain't never catching my ass in no social issues. People make politics and especially social issues their entire personalities nowadays, and it genuinely sucks. People these days are just as good at shutting the fuck up about illegal immigration as I am at going 12 hours without breaking something with my bare hands, in the sense that I just can't do it, and many times I find that I can't even scroll on reels in my free time without someone's favorite political streamer parading around someone's corpse in the name of cancel culture. That shit's almost as dumb as my dad getting me and himself in trouble when I was less than an hour old. That's actually a true story. Man took me around showing me to the other babies. I'm gonna do the same thing when I ever have kids. Them nurses gonna treat my presence in that nursery like Imran Khan in a school zone. Oh, and speaking of kids, I just have to mention the shoving of social issues and politics in general in every place where it doesn't belong, especially children's spaces and schools, and dare I mention the children's fandoms, which I have spoke on briefly before. Children are just trying to learn their ABCs, not jump straight to the P, and we have all seen what those fucking drag queens have been doing with them kids. Kinda almost reminds me of that time I first learned what a Roblox condo was. That bitch probably dances before the music starts playing. People are obsessed with thinking that they are correct, and from what I can see a lot of it comes from some sort of corrupted morality. People are so obsessed with their beliefs and thinking that they are more morally good than Jesus Christ himself without being open to other people's views, and instead of a debate it's becoming a literal competition of who can indoctrinate the most people, no matter if the means of doing so are ethical or morally okay. That creates civil war among countries of people who cannot see human life outside of opinions they don't like, which is genuinely a dangerous mindset, so let's talk about that. It's mainly the Democrats who are perpetrating and rallying behind political violence, which honestly is a pretty big flag redder than half the United States in November. Rather peculiar coming from the blue side. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bringing a gun to a verbal fight means one thing. You never had an argument. You only had ammo. And if you wanna think otherwise and rally behind shooting an activist guy, then you might wanna brace for the shit I'm about to leave in your fucking window. Yeah, look out those shutters for me. You see that green light? That's me. Green eggs and ham. Sam I am. Here I am motherfucker. To see the Democrats cheer for the death of Charlie and then take him wildly out of context time and time again, and then to see the conservatives mocking the slow death of Joe Biden. Like damn, I never liked Biden, but I am disappointed in my political party for mocking his illness. which in my books is just as bad as rallying behind the guy from the convention who is now in detention. A nose with that much curvature could enlighten the flat earth community. I can't tell whether you're a Republican or a Democrat with that head built like the red bird. I bet every time you sneeze you just go. Unlike how the mainstream media portrays Charlie, he was literally one of the most respectful conservative activists out there, respecting and guiding a transgender person, giving leftists room to speak in a room full of right-wingers who were laughing at them. Hell, even celebrating sperm cells who just popped out of the birth canals for the entire world to see. My boy Charlie was hooting a toast to that shit. I thought I saw confetti come out of the side of the camera for a second there. Or maybe it's the dead pixels, I don't know. Yet people seek out everything bad about the guy and treat him with some of the worst disrespect I have seen in years, and yet have the audacity to say that they feel bad for his kids. Like no you fucking don't. And as someone who had the mockery of his dad be the forefront of many of his own controversies, I really sympathize with these kids. I know exactly what it's like. It can genuinely ruin you and that person's legacy, and motherfuckers wonder why people are leaving the left. Look at your own fucking selves.
Charlie Kirk incited violence, that's what he did, and then that came back to haunt him. That was his decision.
And while he did have some dumb takes from time to time, let's not forget, we all have takes that others disagree with. For example, his stances on abortion. I do not support abortion, however. I think special exceptions should be made for assault survivors or medical emergencies, so me and the old Ches would not see eye to eye there. And me, I support violence against those who harm children. Many people disagree with me, but to hit the hay at the end of the day, political violence is some dystopian shit, because when you mock someone's death, when you cheer for violence against your political enemies, you're not defending your beliefs, you're abandoning them. And I thought I was a hateful and violent person. These fuckers make me look like a little pumpkin pie who wouldn't hurt a fly. If you do shit like this and think you're doing your political party a favor, you'd be dead wrong. It's like Floyd trying to breathe. It's just not gonna fucking work. And if anything, you are only making an ass of the entire ideology you claim to represent. It's meant to be a debate, but it's no longer a debate when shots are fired, literally or metaphorically. And speaking of metaphorically, this isn't even mentioning the double standards and selective morality when it comes to politics. I'm gonna use this as an excuse to bring up my feud with r/YouTube drama in 2024. Because to bust down the orphanage roof and tell you guys the truth, I feel like that is a good example of what I am speaking about here. If you didn't know, my first ever exposure to the LGBT was abusive, and I ended up having a harmful generalization. When I asked for help from my audience and acknowledged that my thoughts were wrong, r/YouTube drama took that as an excuse to dogpile on me like it was that one scene in completing the mission, and even allowed one of my abusers to have a platform to further defame me on their subreddit, as well as mocking my self-harm attempts, which honestly, is fucking shameful, and says way more about them than it did about me. While my said generalization was wrong and I am very sorry for it, I never actually hurt anyone, nor did I harass people for being in that community, unlike these people who actively abused me for 4 years. Who r/YouTube drama willingly chose to ignore and even support. And man, you would not catch me dead in the back of a Macca's like it's fucking Nashville mocking a child's self-harm. Fuck out of here. Now I want you to imagine that instead of a straight guy I was a lesbian girl, and these grown women harassing me and making CSAM of me were straight men, and I generalized them instead. These people on r/YouTube drama would have been so quick to defend me, but because it's the other way around, suddenly I'm the one who is, quote, a danger to the alphabet gang, rather than focusing on the root of the issue, which was active child abuse, and identity politics being dragged into it to make the predators seem like better people. Have you ever decided to move your sweaty, chronically online ass away from the keyboard, and going off to shower instead of bullying an abused and mentally ill child, you sick fucks? Shit like this only proves my point. People cherish their politics so much that nuance is a thing of the past when it comes to preteens acting out from prolonged abuse. It doesn't matter what the abusers did so long as they don't support Trump or whatever. You don't need to support child abusers. You can just be one yourself, and there will always be someone from your political side that supports you, even if that involves being a complete nuisance online, and as mentioned before, shoving their issues into every place where it should not be. Half of us are just fucking petty and will do literally anything to make a point. For example, the politicization of Jesus.
Who the fuck is
I genuinely cannot understand why we need to push such stuff onto him of all people, when if I look up in the big book, my guy was casually hanging with tax collectors and prostitutes. So to think that he would not accept someone solely based on what they think of inflation is really a reach further than the galactic superclusters. Now I see why the universe keeps expanding. That shit's trying to run away, and I don't blame it. I can name many other places where social issues don't belong, namely children's institutions and media, as I already mentioned. I feel pretty strongly about tampering with kids, as you can tell, and let me tell you, this does not belong in children's spaces, neither does this, and especially not this. I find it really creepy how people try to push controversial topics into children's spaces in the name of representation or education, because children lack the cognitive function to process complex political issues, and if anything only makes the topic look worse. Remember when a toddler was kicked out of a preschool for being transphobic? That is complete bullshit. Young children do not have the mental capacity to understand such a thing, let alone discriminate against it. Kids went from being taught how to solve for X to how to have sex, which is bad enough. But to punish these kids for not aligning with your political agenda is really a honky hunk of bullshit when you are the one fucking around in the first place. These educational institutions know that kids are vulnerable and will take their word on anything which is blatantly predatory. Left or right, it's just as bad when children's early development is being disrupted by ideologies that are more childish than they are, and they're the fucking kids. When social issues get to places it doesn't belong in, it gets everywhere, and when it gets everywhere, it gets dangerous, and becomes uncontrollable, but that's a story for another day. Today I got some new stuff to show you guys. The server has freshly been released a little while ago, so I guess this is a server promotion. I'll talk to you guys and all, but just know I am very rarely active on that platform. Lately I've been pretty okay. I've managed to escape a pretty bad addiction which for the last few months was really pulling me in, and it likely won't be the last clash I have with it. I don't wanna post videos when I'm suffering like that because my videos already suck enough, so the least I can do is be genuine in them. I see many YouTubers pumping out complete shit shows time and time again and they always lose that passion, and I really don't fuck with that quantity over quality, and I don't wanna have my channel become one of those. Upside, I have new videos in the works, one being on a project I'm working on, so yeah, let me know if you like this video and if I should do more, and I'll be off. 10-3.
Shit. Your mama want the shit.
Am I done here yet? I wanna go home. I'm hungry.
Your daddy wasn't shit. You think you gonna be some shit?